In the dynamic and often chaotic world of boxing, a new era has dawned, one where the traditional boundaries of sport are being blurred, and the definition of a prize fighter is being rewritten in real time. For decades, the heavyweight division, in particular, was considered the sport's most sacred ground, a realm reserved for the most fearsome and dedicated warriors. But the rise of Jake Paul, the brash YouTuber-turned-professional boxer, has introduced a new kind of celebrity and a new kind of business model to the fight game. While the purists of the boxing world may not be particularly anxious to hear what Jake Paul has to say, there is no denying his masterful ability to generate headlines and keep his name in the public spotlight. Following his latest victory, a decision went over the faded, yet still recognizable, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Paul did what he does best. He put on a show. In a post-fight spectacle that was part victory lap and part audacious challenge, he called out a wide range of high-profile fighters, crossing weight classes and eras in a move that seemed to defy all logic. The names he threw out, a mix of legends and current champions, were a testament to his ambition, even if none of them appear to make any sense from a purely sporting perspective. Yet, amid the flurry of seemingly absurd call-outs, one name has continued to resonate, generating an improbable amount of steam for a potential bout. The name is Anthony Joshua. Yes, the former two-time unified world heavyweight champion, a man who has sold out stadiums and headlined some of the most lucrative pay-per-view events in history, is now considered a real possibility for a fight against a younger, less experienced Paul. What was once a laughable proposition, a social media star fighting a legitimate world champion, has now entered the realm of serious discussion. The shift in perception is so pronounced that even Joshua's own promoter, the respected and notoriously shrewd Eddie Hearn, has publicly spoken about the fight, acknowledging its immense commercial potential. For a man who has spent his career building the legacies of true champions, this admission was a seismic event, a clear sign that the financial incentives behind such a bout could outweigh the traditional sporting concerns. But as quickly as the fire was lit, a new voice of skepticism has emerged, one that suggests this dream matchup may not be as plausible as it once seemed. Davison's perspective, the voice of reason in a world of hype. That voice belongs to Ben Davison, the highly regarded trainer who's been working with Anthony Joshua. Davison, a man with a reputation for a no-nonsense, pragmatic approach to the sport, recently offered his thoughts on the potential fight. While he, like Hearn, understands the immense commercial appeal, he doesn't believe the fight will actually come to fruition. Davison's perspective is rooted in a clear-eyed understanding of both the modern boxing business and the realities of competitive sport. He knows that money talks, and in an era where celebrity spectacles can generate more revenue than traditional championship bouts, the idea of a massive payday is incredibly tempting. But he also knows that boxing is a serious, often brutal, discipline. To articulate his point, Davison drew a compelling comparison to what is arguably the original celebrity boxing event of the modern era, the 2017 crossover bout between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Conor McGregor. He recounted a memorable moment from the press tour leading up to that fight, a moment that perfectly encapsulates the nature of such events. I said the other day, "Do you remember when Floyd boxed McGregor?" He was like, "I'm robbing a bank." I think he came out in a ski mask. If they're going to pay Joshua ridiculous money to do that, then it's going to spike a bit of interest. We'll see what they're willing to do. Do I think it will happen? Probably not. Davison's comparison is a crucial lens through which to view the potential Joshua-Paul matchup. The Mayweather-McGregor fight was a financial juggernaut, a cultural phenomenon that broke pay-per-view records and earned both men astronomical sums of money. But it was never truly a competitive boxing match. Mayweather, one of the greatest offensive boxers of all time and a man with a lifetime of experience in the ring, was facing a world-class mixed martial artist with zero professional boxing experience. The outcome was never in doubt. For Mayweather, the fight was a perfectly orchestrated cash grab, a chance to earn an easy payday while retiring on a high note. He toyed with McGregor for several rounds, allowing the UFC star to land some shots and give the crowd a show, before turning up the heat and finishing him with a TKO in the 10th round. The fight was a spectacle, an exhibition in all but name, where the result was a foregone conclusion. The elephant in the room, the mismatch and the contract asterisk. This is the very essence of the problem with a potential Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight. The experience and size difference between the two men is not just significant, it is a chasm. Anthony Joshua is a physical specimen, a towering heavyweight with a granite chin and devastating knockout power. He is a former Olympic gold medalist and a two-time unified world heavyweight champion who has faced and defeated some of the most dangerous men on the planet. Jake Paul, on the other hand, is still a developing fighter, a man whose skills have been honed against a limited pool of opponents, most of whom were not professional boxers. In a real sanctioned boxing match, there is no doubt that Anthony Joshua would have a decisive advantage. He could, without question, knock out Jake Paul with ease. The power difference, the ring IQ, the footwork, the defensive ability. Every metric points to a complete and utter mismatch. And this, as Davison suggests, is precisely why the fight is unlikely to happen, at least not as a legitimate boxing bout. The only way such a fight could ever be made would be through a contract so heavily laden with stipulations and unusual clauses that would bear little resemblance to a real fight. The question isn't whether Anthony Joshua could beat Jake Paul, it's whether the contract would even allow it. Would there be clauses about no knockouts? Would there be unusual weight limits that would protect Paul? Would it be classified as an exhibition, a glorified sparring session designed to entertain rather than compete? These are the questions that make a serious boxing professional like Davison skeptical. The allure of the mega payday. Why Joshua would even consider it. So, if the fight is so clearly a mismatch, why is there even a discussion? The answer, as Davison and Hearn both know, Joshua, in the twilight of his career, who has already earned tens of millions. A fight against Jake Paul represents a payday unlike any other. It is a chance to earn an astronomical sum of money in a fight that, from a competitive standpoint, carries very little risk. While a victory would not enhance his legacy, a win is all but guaranteed, and the financial rewards would be immense. For a fighter who has faced the physical and mental toll of fighting at the highest level for over a decade, the temptation of a low-risk, high-reward event is a powerful one.